Welcome to this week's Todd Talks video, and this week we're going to discuss an opportunity that's starting to arise in the marketplace, and that is that nationally and here locally in Texas and here in DFW, we're starting to see an increase of sellers willing to offer concessions to sell their homes. And what this means is it's a huge opportunity because in the past it was normal, except during COVID, right? Except during COVID. But in the past, it was normal for sellers to pay the title policy. And maybe you can get a little bit of a price reduction if they price the house too high. Or maybe the house sat on the market a little bit and there was some negotiating room. But the truth is from 2012 through just past COVID, when rates went significantly higher, we were in a seller's market where you had very little room to negotiate as a buyer. So I've been talking for a while now on how prices are going to stay stable, but there's opportunity. And let me show you what I mean by this chart. So this is a chart, and you can see some markets are like worse than others. Like if you're buying in Seattle, like 71% of the sellers are giving concessions. So like pretty much everyone's giving a concession. And you can see, but all of these are almost close to 20%. I wanted to zero in on Dallas and Austin and Houston. So you can see on the Austin and the Houston markets, it's up over 40%. And then in Dallas, looks like in Dallas, even in Dallas, we're over 40%. So the average was actually 44%. So that's almost half. So almost half sellers are giving concessions. And here's the key thing. They're not just giving concessions to say, oh, here's a few $1,000s. They're giving fairly large concessions that we can use to then lower your interest rate. When you get a concession from a seller, say $10,000 or $15,000, we can take that and we can pay discount points to get you a significantly lower interest rate. And in some cases, not only lower the interest rate, but even give you another 1% off of that for the first 2 years, sometimes even for 3 years. So this is an amazing opportunity. Now, one of the things I want to point out is I had predicted earlier in the year that prices will still probably gain about 5% this year. And I'm not ready to change that prediction yet, just because the other half, or 55%, they are also not giving concessions, right? So the strategy is that when you go to find a house, if it's just listed, there's very little chance that sellers are going to negotiate. And just so you know, the 55% that are not giving concessions, those are the houses that are just people like, they're buying right away. But sometimes a perfectly good house just slips through the cracks. I had one last night where I have a buyer today making an offer. We're going to get a significant concession. It's in Arlington. It's a beautiful home in a beautiful neighborhood. And it's just been sitting there. Because it made it past the first few weeks of the market, it just sort of sat there. There's nothing wrong with the house. So there's huge opportunities out there to buy right now. And let me tell you one other thing. This year, there's been two periods where rates went down. One, they really came down and they spiked back up. Whenever rates start coming down, you know what happens to demand? It goes through the roof. So I want you to think about this. The population in DFW is going to double in the next 10 years. We know that rates are cyclical and they eventually will start coming down, and we know that drives demand. So with the population increase and rates driving demand, it's going to create a situation where you see those concessions go from 44% back down to maybe 10 or 5%, like houses that maybe need work, that had deferred maintenance, that had issues with them where the seller has to induce a sale and offer incentives. The rest of them aren't going to be offering incentives. And same with the builders right now. Builders, you can get typically $20,000 to $25,000 on most of my builders to buy a house. We're getting amazing financing packages. So if you'd like to learn more, reach out. I'll build you a great mortgage plan, show you how you can do an optimized financing package to go either buy a resale or a new construction home. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope you have a great day.